Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning is Sean from Elmwood Park, who's helping us to
prune. Let's use the word prune.
Yeah, prune the audience.
Yes.
Yeah, to make it more manageable,
Exactly.
which really help. Text from 708. Sean is like the neighbor you try to avoid because all he does is babble, thinking he knows everything, when in reality he knows nothing.
Just put on your Make America Great hat. You'll be all right.
Text from another 708, different 708. Changing the channel right now. I'm not putting up with that big mouth fill-in you've got, and other texts like that. So
that's the guy and his wife. Good riddance.
Yeah. Thank you for that. All right, let's see if we can, maybe bring somebody on who will compel people's interests in a way that we're not, and bring our audience back. How about that? Yeah. President Trump meeting with the NRA yesterday, and Christopher Cox, the executive director of the NRA, saying after that meeting, good news, despite what you saw at that public roundtable with the bipartisan group of Congress beings, the president is against gun control, and he is for due process. So the Second and Fifth Amendments are safe.
Triple Lindy. The Trump Triple Lindy.
That's got to be good news to Lynn Dunagan, who's the owner of JMD Defense and Investigations. She's also the creator of the Ladies of Steel Gun Club. She may want to go with a different alloy, though, now that there's going to be a tariff on steel.
Yeah.
And by the way, where's the gun debate in this city, in this state? Have you seen the commercials? Joe Barrios?
They're going to get rid of them all. Barrios, he's going to get rid of them. He's going to go to verbal assessment on your house like he did for Pritzker. It's going to be great.
Well, but Joe Barrios is running for Cook County Assessor, saying he's going to take on the NRA and ban assault weapons.
How about you do your job, dummy?
Do you understand the lack of respect the political ruling class has for you?
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, if you watch these commercials and you don't understand what they're actually telling you as to how they think of you, oh boy. Anyway, let's get our friend Lynn on. Lynn Dunagan, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it, Lynn.
Hi, thank you again for this opportunity.
Well, we enjoyed talking to you the last time and what you're doing down there on the South Side, and so we wanted to get an update on how the Ladies of Steel Gun Club is going and how the membership is growing, and what you think about all of the debate happening in this city and country.
Okay, well, yes, I think you interviewed me last July, and from July, I think I had probably 30 ladies back in July, and as of yesterday, we've grown to 95 ladies in the gun club.
That's great. All Southsiders?
No, they're from all over. I mean, I have
Okay.
ladies in, I think it's North Lake. She's coming from around Des Plaines, Oak Park. We have people as south as Stager. I mean, they're coming from all over.
Great.
Because we are the only gun club, female-only gun club in Chicago.
And where should I send Sheriff Dart to arrest you all?
No, we are legal owners of firearms, and we are responsible owners of firearms. So we're not the ones they need to look for.
And the genesis of this, putting together this club?
Well, one of the main reasons is that I used to be afraid of firearms, like I had told you all before. And once I went through the proper training, understood that a firearm is not just going to shoot you, that I realized I fell in love with shooting and the I don't compete, but just the fact of learning everything I can about shooting. And so I decided that once I opened a business, I wanted to incorporate a ladies' gun club, because whenever I go to the range, I never would see a group of ladies together or individual, a lady going solo to shoot. And I think what's also happening is the educational piece is missing from the concealed carry conversation here. So I wanted to also include an educational component. So once a month we meet here and we bring in a speaker to talk all things firearms. And then just like the other day, Wednesday, we went to Black Hawk Tactical in Alsip and met with the owner, Adam, and he gave our ladies a presentation about what goes into purchasing a firearm. And the very next week after we have a meeting here with the speaker, then we go to shoot in a practice. So it holds everyone accountable. It gets us out of that house and making sure that the firearm that we did purchase, that we know what we're doing with it and we're responsible.
Now, Lynn, the south side of Chicago and history kind of shows us that women have a tendency to be prey of bad-intended men, correct?
Well, it's not just the South Side. I mean,
That's what I meant.
Just
It's everywhere.
anywhere.
So
Yeah, that's anywhere, not even just in Chicago.
So, well, that's my point.
Women are victims. We're more likely to be victims, and the goal is to empower women. Even if they choose not to carry a firearm, we have self-defense classes for ladies as well, and that's to help them to decide, I believe you should do both, self-defense and if you decide to have a firearm, but to think about how not to become a victim.
So I have two daughters. One of them is a couple of years away from going to college.
Good.
Do you think that the government should take away her Second Amendment rights until she's 21?
Well, this is my personal opinion about young people and firearms. I don't train young people under 18 or to shoot firearms. I don't think that young people should have a firearm on campus when they go, because I just don't think they're going to make that decision. We know you're not supposed to drink when you have a firearm, because a lot of things can happen when you have a firearm. I'm not saying all students go to college and they drink, but I'm just not sure if they're going to have that maturity level to make a decision to say, I'm going to leave this firearm at home, or if someone steps on my toe at a party, that I'm going to pull out this firearm. So it's not so much for me about her not having that Second Amendment right. Yes, I believe she should have that right. I'm just not sure if young people should have access to those firearms. You have to be 21. You have to be 21 to have a
FOID
be
card.
able to purchase a
get a FOID card.
Pistol,
yeah.
But a long gun, you can be 18. That
Right.
doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know if it's so much about the government. I just think our legislators need to think about that. Does that even make sense?
Legislators and thinking, that's asking a lot. Here's question, though. I want to go back to something you said, too. You kind of used to be afraid of guns. The whole demystification of guns that happens when you actually properly learn how to use one and become a responsible and safe gun owner. And I just wonder, you've had your experience, and now with all of these ladies in your group, if that's been kind of something that repeats itself, that so much of this debate and discussion is clouded by hysteria that's easily dissipated if you just either take the time to educate yourself and understand what people are saying, even if you don't want to participate in owning a gun or in shooting sports or whatever. You don't have to experience it. But then if you do experience it, the scales fall from the eyes.
Yeah, I do think that education opens individuals' eyes. We've had people come in to take our intro class and say, wow, I really just didn't understand all that goes into a firearm. Everything, the safety component, storing it, shooting it, properly handling. So, yeah, I believe that what happens is once they leave, they realize, I understand it now. I used to even think, you look at a gun or you touch it, it's just going to go off. But now, I carry my firearm every day, and it's just like a part of my body. So I don't really think about, I know this firearm is not going to go off, but it will if I could easily shoot myself or someone else if I'm negligent. That's
right.
The point I was going to make.
Sure.
Yep.
Well, obviously I'm for the Second Amendment. I like the idea that you're safe. I just think everybody needs to be that safe. I don't like the idea that we put age limits and age restrictions, really, is what it is. It's a restriction. And you know what I'm reminded of when you were talking about drinking at a party? Do you remember a couple of years ago there was that Chicago policeman, Abate, who
beat up the bartender.
Attacked that bartender. And if you watched that was so horrific. All I thought to myself is, too bad this little girl who's outweighed by 100 pounds doesn't have a weapon to defend herself, because not everybody's as tough as that bartender was. So I think we need to give all of our kids, especially when we decide that they are old enough to leave the house and go away to college, we need to give them that amendment right. That's really my own.
Well, and Lynn, I mean, when you talk to the ladies in your organization too, do you talk about the stories of responsible, law-abiding gun owners who are heroes? The guy in Oswego just this week who stopped a knife attack. The two guys that responded to the Sutherland Springs church shooter with guns, and one was a former NRA instructor. Do you guys have conversations like that so that you can kind of spread the word, as it were?
Well, we talk about so many different things come up that happen in the news. We share that information with individuals and say, in the end, when you're in a situation, you really don't know how you're going to react until you're in that situation. But the answer may not always be a firearm. I mean, it may be if somebody takes your firearm away from you, you need to know how to fight. So we have a self-defense class. Our self-defense instructor talks to the ladies about weapon retention and what happens if someone takes that firearm from you. So I'm not necessarily sure. I know it's this big debate about the teachers carrying a firearm, having a firearm in the class. I don't necessarily think that's a good idea because when the police come in, they don't know who the bad guy is. A woman could be the bad guy. A man could be the bad guy. It could be an older teacher that looks innocent to someone else, but he has a firearm. And the other thing is when you start shooting and trying to defend the kids, the kids may go haywire, and you have to really be a good shooter to have to engage that active shooting. I'm just not sure if teachers would be prepared to do that. I think, there's so many other ways we can go with that, but we talk about a lot of this with our ladies. We really do, but
it's good.
In the end, they're going to make that decision, but we always talk about being responsible with having a proper holster, how you're carrying it. And I am a big opponent of purse carry because the first thing the victims, criminals will do is snatch a woman's purse.
Right.
But, if that gun is in the purse, it's even dangerous having a firearm in the purse because if you sit your purse down and someone goes in your purse to grab a pen or gum or something, that firearm could go off. So, yeah, we talk about responsible firearm safety all the time. We drill it in.
She is Lynn Dunagan. She's the owner of JMD Defense and Investigations and the founder of the Ladies of Steel Gun Club on the South Side. Lynn, for other women in the Chicago area who want to get more information about Ladies of Steel, maybe participate in your club, how can they do that?
Well, I have a website. It's jmddefense.com, and we're located at 1447 West 103rd Street. The phone number is 773-614-8747. And one more thing I just want to mention about self-defense. We do have a class for college girls going away to college.
Oh, good.
It's called Before She Goes to College, and it's self-defense now. Like I said, we're not teaching them. The parents can make a decision and take them to the range, but we are teaching them self-defense techniques.
Excellent. Lynn Dunagan, Ladies of Steel Gun Club, JMD Defense. Lynn, thanks again for joining us. Appreciate it.
And thank you so much.
And she joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.